what have the Jays done all season long? And you've seen it, Kev, as a fan of the AL East. Yep. They get murdered or lose a heartbreaking game and come back and punch you in the face. Mm-hmm. They're not. It's what like the old Jays team used to fold, and that's what I used to hate about them. These guys are different. They're like guys you go to war with. It's like, man, you're my buddy. Like, let's go. Like, their clubhouse dynamic, I've never seen a Blue Jay team where everyone gets along.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Apparently, he's a pretty darn good defensive coordinator. The 49ers are decimated by injury. This guy's doing it again. Wade Phillips, Norv Turner, all these guys, there's a lot of great coordinators out there. I'm not so sure Mike McDaniel isn't a real good coordinator, a run game coordinator, a quarterback coach with the 49ers during some Super Bowl years. Maybe he's just not built to be a head coach.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I think a divorce is coming. I don't think LeBron finishes the year with the LA Lakers. And the trump card he tried to play has backfired on him big time. And I'm here for all the smoke. I got my marshmallows, I got my skewers, I got the fireplace. I'm going to sit back, kicking my feet, and watch the LA dysfunction play out in real time.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The governor calls you out in a football state, you're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, you know, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
In-game live has begun. I am Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. Scott Wetzel out tonight. Cam Stewart is in. We're jam-packed, though, tonight as well. We've got the coach, James Young, going to step up and in. We'll get into some college basketball, some NBA basketball. We've got NBA basketball going on right now as we speak, obviously. Paul Bovey joins us. We'll talk some NFL football, college football with Paul Bovey. Brady Cannon in the house. We kick it old-school style on a Wednesday night, talk some golf with Cam and with Brady Cannon. As I stated, we've got NBA basketball going on. We've Arizona and UConn, big-time college basketball game going on right now on the East Coast. I liked Arizona plus the 4.5. I didn't pull the trigger before tip-off, thinking, you know, let's see how the game plays out. I was hoping that UConn would get a lead, but they haven't. Like, Arizona had been leading by a couple of points for the most part through the first half. It's 35-33 right now for the Wildcats over the Huskies. At the half, Arizona are currently getting 2.5 right now. So that's the big college basketball game going on. But without further ado, we got a bunch of games coming up right now. And in typical NBA fashion, you know, like you can put plays in, you can put your play in earlier in the day, and it might get scratched, or you could wait for the lineups at the last moment. And I'm wondering about Zach LaVine, but Zach LaVine is confirmed to be playing tonight. So let's get started with the pickoff. I'll start off now that we can confirm that Zach LaVine actually is in the lineup. He's been an assist machine. Say what you will about Sacramento. They're terrible, and they have to be one of the most poorly constructed basketball teams in the history of basketball. Like, people don't pay attention to the Kings. If you look at their roster, they literally have like 10 guys that are the exact same guy on the team. But LaVine has been really good as far as assists are concerned, guys. So his assist prop is 2.5. He's had 3 or more assists in 3 straight games. And in fact, LaVine has had 3 or more assists in 6 of Sacramento's last 9 game. Should be a lot of points in this game tonight against Oklahoma City. Give me Zach LaVine over 2.5 assists. Cam Stewart in the house. What do you got for your first pick, Cam?
Hey, Gabe, I'm going with Chet Holmgren, and this guy's been on fire right now for Oklahoma City. 5 of the last 6, 21 points. 17.5 was his points number. It seems a little bit light for a guy that can score, Gabe, and I'm going to take Chet Holmgren tonight. I think he can get 20 plus, 17.5. I think that number is very attainable, so Chet Holmgren is my first pickoff, number one, to get over 18 or more points tonight. He's been solid.
All right, so Russell Westbrook returns to Oklahoma City. Now, it's not as if though it's his first time back or anything like that since playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But say what you will about Russ. He's not a great shooter, but the dude plays hard, and he puts numbers up when he's on the court. This is interesting. It's down to 6.5 right now as far as his rebounds are concerned. He averages 6.6 rebounds a game, but he's been getting more minutes recently. In fact, he's had 8 or more rebounds in 3 of their last 4 basketball games. They are shorthanded. So as I stated, everybody's sort of getting more minutes. There's an opportunity to put more props on the board. So we got it at 7.5. Earlier today was plus 110. So now it's 6.5 at minus money. So your call, how you want to approach it. But look for Westbrook to rack up the rebounds tonight in his return to Oklahoma City. What do you got, Cam? Pick number 2.
Well, we're going to the college board. This game has just tipped off, Gabe, and South Florida has been amazing when they're scoring points. 99, 102, 100, 108. They're at Oklahoma State tonight, and the Cowboys are undefeated, and they're playing great basketball as well. 95, 87, 94, 85. I see points and an up-and-down tempo game. We're just tipping off, so over 179 between the South Florida Bulls and Oklahoma State, the Pokes. I like a lot of points in this one, Gabe.
All right, a track meet, says Cam Stewart. I'm going to stick in this basketball game. You know, it's pretty crazy. Sacramento are terrible, and I'm loading up on Sacramento players just because their numbers are too low. Dennis Schroeder, all right? Dennis Schroeder is another one. Like I said, you got Zach LaVine, DeRozan, LaVine. You got all these same dudes on your team. Russell Westbrook, it's insanity. But Schroeder puts up numbers as well. His overall prop tonight, so rebounds, points, and assists, guys, for Dennis Schroeder. This is another one. I don't know if the market, I guess I'm that bad of a better, Cam, because I liked it at 18.5 and it's 17.5 right now. Rebounds, points, and assists for Dennis Schroeder. The guy had 22, 6, and 5 the other night. Like, Schroeder's going to give you like 14, 15 points alone. His assist prop is actually 4.5, believe it or not. And he gets a couple of rebounds. So I don't understand this number for Dennis Schroeder at 17.5 rebounds, points, and assists. Let's go Dennis Schroeder over the number. What do you got for us, Cam?
I like your style, Morency, loading up on the Kings. The bad teams, you get better numbers on their players. I'm sticking with the same game, and it's already started. I get a better number, 7.5 live game, but I like the South Florida Bulls as my underdog tonight at Oklahoma State, a 3-1 basketball team that's scoring lots of points. I know the Pokes are undefeated, but I really like the way South Florida is playing right now. So right now we're getting live 7.5. I took the 4.5 pregame. Give me the South Florida Bulls as my underdog special tonight, plus 4.5, laying 110, but we got a better number now live as Oklahoma State's got a nice run to start the game.
All right, I'm feeling the NBA props early here tonight. Guys, listen, you got these games. You got massive point spreads, at least with the games that are coming up in our window right now. You've got massive point spreads. So you got the Wizards and the T-Wolves. This game could end up being a blowout. And I'm looking at DiVincenzo here. Dante's numbers, 22.5 for points, rebounds, and assists tonight, which it feels a little high to me, to be honest with you. You know, he normally gets right around this. He normally gets to like 18, 19. You know, he'll give you 11 points and a couple of assists type deal. And like, he's a grinder. I like him as a player. But how many minutes is he really going to play tonight? This game could end up being a big-time blowout. I'm not sure he's going to be on the floor that much, enough to put up massive numbers. So to get to 23 points, rebounds, and assists for sort of a hustling, grinding type player, I think it's too high. And I'll tell you what, I wish I would have caught on to this earlier because he's gone under this number in 5 of their last 6 basketball games. So give me Dante to go under 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists in the NBA. Big NBA prop night today, Cam. It's all or nothing.
You're right, buddy. And you're on the Kings, and I got the Pelicans, so we're both eating from the dumpster tonight. Trey Murphy, 41 points against the Spurs, 6 straight games over 18, but they post a number of 17.5, Gabe. Am I falling into the trap? I might be, but I'll tell you, Zion's banged up too. I really like this prop with Murphy over 17.5 points tonight. I think he gets into the 20s. So I'm thinking in Orleans, if somebody's going to score, he's going to be the guy to fill the basket. 2 guys at 17.5 with Holmgren and Murphy. Let's rock, buddy.
All right, so we're getting our final bet in here right before tip-off. And I got to tell you, man, betting on the NBA is insane because the numbers change. Guys are in, guys are out. And once one player is sort of announced to be out after, there's a domino effect with the other players on the team and their numbers. And, like, I've been looking at the NBA props hard all day long today, and stuff is locked. Now, half the team is up. The other half of the team isn't up, but it is what it is. It's funny. The NBA says they're going to look into, like, why there's so many injuries and all this. Well, stop playing so many back-to-backs. I'll tell you what, because, we're only in November right now, and literally it feels like half the league is already injured in the National Basketball Association. We've got college football going on right now, and I guess I deserve what I get, because Central Michigan have been very good to me over the years. And listen, they're 7-3 against the spread this year. They've been a good team ATS-wise. But Kent State have been scrappy this year, and you're getting 7.5, 8 with Kent State. I thought they could hang around in this football game. They're playing for bowl eligibility, right? They've had a pretty good season, to be honest with you, by Kent State standards, having 4 wins right now, but they just can't get it going offensively. It's 14-0 right now. The point spread is 14.5, and Miami, Ohio are up on the Buffalo Bulls 7-3 right now, midway through the second quarter of play. So we'll track these games. We'll get you some halftime bets for the Maction. We'll check out the National Hockey League, all that and more in Game Live.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be, even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. Like, I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
In-game live. I am Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. So we've got a pretty busy night for a Wednesday night tonight. There's a lot of different sports going on, the different leagues, NBA, college basketball, NHL hockey. We're starting to bet CHL hockey a lot right now as well. And Of course, we're going to get into some NFL football. We got Maction going on as we were talking about going into the break. So Central Michigan is up 14-0 right now on Kent State. Kent State 4 wins, but Kent State's win total was 1.5. So they've exceeded expectations by winning 4 games. I guess, I pushed it a little bit because, like I said, Central Michigan, that's my MAC team. That's my go-to team. But they were laying 7.5 on the road. Kent State have been very competitive, but they just kicked a field goal right now, Kent State. It's interesting because the point spread is 16.5, but it's only 14-3 right now. If Kent State get a stop and a score, right, boom, it's 14-10. They're right back in this football game. So I think it just dipped to 15.5. I think 15.5 might be a little bit high, but there's only less than a minute left right now in the first half. Meanwhile, you got Miami, Ohio, and Buffalo. And this was a really tricky one, Cam. I don't know if you bet this Miami and Buffalo game. Did you take this game? Did you bet it?
No, I didn't bet it, Gabe, but I would look at Buffalo plus 4.5 now. It's a very tight spread with Miami of Ohio, a small favorite. I like where you're going with the other game, too. You're getting a great number on Kent State right now. 15.5 might be too many points, so I'd actually look with Maction, both dogs right now. I'd lean to Buffalo plus 4.5 in a game where, there's a lot of football left in that game. And Kent State, I'm getting 14.5 only on FanDuel after the field goal, but I'd still take it if we got over 2 touchdowns.
So Miami, Ohio, and Buffalo, big-time game tonight for both teams. They're both 5-5 right now. So they're both literally just scratching and clawing and trying to get to 6 wins to qualify for a bowl game. So you got 2 5-5 football teams. And Miami were still in the mix going into last week, actually, for the MAC championship, for one of the divisions type of deal to go to the MAC championship game, but they lost a close one a couple of weeks ago. Remember, it was Miami, Ohio, and there was punt returns, and it was a crazy type of game, and it went back and forth. And so, long story short, Miami, Ohio, these guys were 5-3 a couple of weeks ago. All right, they were 5-3, and they were in the mix. And don't forget, they lost their non-conference game. So, in the MAC, they were rolling along. And their quarterback, Taquan Finn, quit the team. Literally. He literally told them, I'm leaving, now. And they were like, what do you mean you're leaving? Do you have a personal issue? What's going on? We're 5-3, kid. We're playing in 3 days. What do you mean you're leaving? And he basically said, I've been advised that I should leave and prepare for the NFL combine and draft.
Wow.
So he basically, I don't have a problem with, guys not playing in bowl games now and stuff like that. And listen, I don't like it. I'm going to call the kid out for doing this in the same way that these coaches will stab their team in the back, mid-season like this and start, talking to other schools and stuff when they're in the middle of a playoff chase. But, yeah, it's pretty rare. And I'll tell you what, Finn, you're not going to be in the NFL, all right? You're the quarterback of Miami, Ohio. You're not going to be in the CFL. You want and then you'll be in the Arena League, but the Arena League 2 type thing. You'll be playing in the mall, across the street from the Meadowlands, at the mall, Dream Mall. Like I said, the mall Arena League, which actually is pretty cool. Look pretty cool, but the kid sucks, Cam. So I don't know what the hell he quits for. It's dude, it's the last football you're ever gonna play. You're not going to the NFL, kid. So
it's also a commitment to your
going
teammates,
to the NFL. You wouldn't be the quarterback of Miami, Ohio right now. All right, I don't want to break your heart, kid, but it's just you're not. I get it. Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback of Miami, but that was then. This is now. But long story short, so he quit, and then the first game that they played when he quit, they scored 3 points. Right, their offense sucked. They were all right, we're screwed. So now again tonight, it was one of those. Well, I was a little worried. I figured that the kid would be better tonight, right? Okay, now he's got to start under his belt. They'll figure out what he can and can't do, and Miami, Ohio will be better tonight. But considering the quarterback situation and what they've gone through, going to Buffalo, and Buffalo aren't very good, but they kind of find ways to win games this year. But the problem with the Buffalo Bulls is they're not a good home team. Nobody goes. It's one of those bizarro world things. You figure like Bills Mafia, what else do they have to do during the weekend? I don't understand this. I've never understood why people in Buffalo do not support Buffalo. And Brian Blessing, may he rest in peace. I asked him many years ago this, And he basically said that Amherst isn't Buffalo. It's a rich part of Buffalo, and Joe Sixpack doesn't go there. It's like a rich part, and they don't feel welcome, and they don't think it's like Buffalo. They don't consider it Buffalo, but it is Buffalo. So, but they don't support the team. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't have like a home crowd, and you know this as well as I do. The Buffalo Bulls are like big time chokers. So, like, I wanted to take Miami in this game, Cam, but I talked myself into Buffalo because of the quarterback situation for Miami. But deep down inside, I was like, dude, you know Miami will win. Like, even with a backup, the Buffalo Bulls will find a way to screw this up. And
what's
so
worse
far
than
they are. They've scored 3 points.
What's worse than the Toronto two-step? The Buffalo two-step. The freaking Sabres are losing to the Flames, for God's sakes, and Buffalo can't get out of their own way against Miami of Ohio. Would not be shocked if Buffalo went 0-2 tonight. It's early in the hockey game, but God, the Flames are...
Yeah, but most cities go 1-1 in a spot like this, but things are so bad at Buffalo, it could be an 0-2 night.
That's what I'm predicting. Maybe.
They got the Bills tomorrow night. That's another story. We'll get into that. We'll get into the Buffalo Bills taking on Houston, Texas. But listen, there's still a lot of football left. There's 5 minutes left in the second quarter. But I tell you what, Miami, Ohio are moving the ball right now. They have the ball 2nd and 10 on the Buffalo 22-yard line. So Buffalo better hold them to a field goal, but it's still early. And for the record, the total closed at 38.5 in that game, and it's 37.5 right now. So I was just saying, how come nobody goes to Buffalo Bowl games? Because they're all at the Buffalo Sabres game right now. That's why. The Buffalo Sabres. That's why. That's why. I guarantee you the Sabres is not full either in Buffalo tonight. And the Flames are beating the Sabres 2-0 after the first period.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. Like, I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
In-game live continues. I'm Gabriel Morency on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. So there's been a lot of talk as of late in the gaming world, in the trading world, in the online world in which everybody lives. But the markets have become the new craze, right? The Poly market and Kalshi, both in which you can basically trade on anything. Let's be real. It was, you're betting, right? You're putting a stake up and you say something's going to happen. And they are now getting involved in sports, but the attraction to it is that there's literally millions of options, right? Like if you want to bet, like, who the mayor of, a small town in Romania is going to be, like, you can trade on it, right? Like it's literally like this open source trading market in which there are literally, millions of options and different things in which you can trade on. And this phenomenon is not going to go away. In fact, it's only going to begin to expand. So Poly market was around a couple of years ago, but they had some regulatory issues. So they took a step back and they reanalyzed how they can approach this. And of course, Kalshi has just come out swinging. And, now these markets have been basically mainstream and streamlined, in which sports leagues are partnering up with them. So the legality situation has been taken out the window, if anybody is wondering about that. So we thought it would be fun and profitable as well. As people know, I've had a pretty good eye for, like stocks and different trends, world trends and stuff. And, we stick to sports here, but I do follow, geopolitics and the global, I follow, what's going on in the world pretty closely. And one thing that I noticed yesterday sort of correlates in with something that I found on the Poly market, in which, and I love the irony of this, in which we're talking about like the markets right now, and our first trade on SportsGrid will actually be about the market, which I love the irony of this. So prediction market. Will DraftKings launch a prediction market in 2025? So in other words, we've got until New Year's Day, December 31st at, when the clock strikes midnight. Will DraftKings launch a prediction market in 2025? So anybody that pays attention to the gaming world is aware that FanDuel and DraftKings both withdrew from the AGA, the American Gaming Association, which was it's a partnership and an association of gaming operators, MGM, Caesars, etc., right? So, and they lobby together for the interest of the gaming industry. Except this prediction market stuff has found a loophole around gaming regulation. And the longtime people that have spent a lot of money building up the gambling industry are not happy about this market, that they're not the ones running it, and it's all moving so fast, and they can't keep up with it. FanDuel and DraftKings withdrew from the Gaming Association because they want to be a part of this prediction market. And in fact, FanDuel has already announced that they are going to have a prediction market. Now, obviously, if DraftKings is pulled out of the marketplace, we know that they are also going to have a prediction market website as well in the future. But we're moving into late November right now, all right? The holidays are around the season, and big business deals like this and mega sort of announcements like this generally aren't made the week before Christmas during the holidays. CEOs, they don't get they get the week of Christmas off. CEOs are already gone now. They're already in Switzerland, right? So, I'm not saying these deals aren't being moved right now, but if you pay attention to the trades, there was a story just a couple of days ago about how DraftKings is, they're getting into the predictive market, and they're aiming for early 2026, hopefully to be up and running by the spring type of deal. I don't personally believe that they are launching before 2026. There's no question that they are launching a predictive market, but I don't believe that they are going to do it in the next couple of weeks. And once we get into December 10th and stuff, they're really not going to do it, right? It's just not the time of the year right now that these things are done. And it's such a major, complicated issue with regulatory issues, and they have other interests as well. It will not be an easy, a lot of lawyers have to go over a lot of different things before this happens. Bet no, before December 31st.
and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. Like, I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
In-game live game day continues. I am Gabriel Morency. We're kicking it. Cam Stewart in the house with us. So as we stated, we got a little bit of something for everybody going on tonight. College basketball, UConn and Arizona, a good one between the Wildcats. Don't forget, Arizona already knocked off Florida to start the season. Miami, Ohio have scored another touchdown. So the Buffalo Bulls really are not making this easy on themselves. 14-3 right now for Miami, Ohio, over Buffalo. Buffalo, we're currently getting 13.5. Meanwhile, we go to the half right now in Kent State, Ohio. A lot of Ohio's in the MAC. Central Michigan is up 14-3 on Kent State at the half. They're getting 15.5 right now, but don't forget, they were getting 7.5 in this game. So they are, it looks bleak, 14-3, but they are just one score away from covering the number. I'd like to be more points scored in this football game. And let's bring in a man right now who we're going to talk NFL football with. We've converted him into becoming a Raptor fan as well. And he's always been into betting on the MAC. Paul Bovey in the house. How you doing tonight, Paul?
No, the reality is I just love the sweatshirt, man. I can't.
Costco, 20 bucks.
You know, I was going to leave it in
just
Toronto.
Fits right.
And
You're nice and cozy. You just like that one. It's a go-to hoodie for you now. Huh?
Yeah. Funny thing is, I wasn't going to buy it. And then my girl, she convinced me. And lo and behold, this thing is absolutely great. I'm going to have to go get that other one because I never made it back to Costco. But eventually I will. But go Raptors, man. They're an exciting team.
8-1 in their last 9 games. And for the record, 8-1 in their last 9 games straight up, 7-2 against the spread. I think the Raptors are going to enter into a territory where they're going to be favorites a lot now moving forward. And not just, because they're so great, but they play a lot of bad teams. Like, they're going to rack up wins. If you look at their schedule, and there's just a lot of bad teams in the Eastern Conference, right? They're playing the Nets. They play the Hornets. They play the Pacers. So they have an opportunity to rack up wins. But tonight's game was kind of a pick-em. The Raptors ended up closing as 2-point favorites, 2.5 when it was all said and done. And they're up 74-67 right now in Philadelphia. Did you dip into the NBA tonight, Paul?
I did not. I was looking at the MAC, and it completely got by me because here I am on the West Coast in Vegas, and lo and behold, the game started 4 o'clock, and I just flipped it on. I go, oh my God, I was going to bet Miami of Ohio, and I can't do it anymore. They were up 7-3 going in. So anyway, that's life. And there's plenty of action to make that up. NFL, college football, we got it all.
A big flood in Vegas going on, from what I understand. F1 week as well. You picked the, you're going to the F1 race with all the high rollers, Paul? Staying at Caesars?
No.
$7,000 a night? That doesn't look like Caesar's suite behind you.
No, you want me to hold up the towels? What was that movie again?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember last time you guessed where he was staying? You're like, I've seen that tapestry before, right? Didn't you guess where Paul was? I know what hotel that is.
Oh yeah, that's why I could be an FBI agent. I could track him down. I'd be right now. I'd be like, yeah, all right. I could figure out what street.
I don't know why.
I'd figure out the block radiuses and narrow it down. I'd nail him in a day. Take me an afternoon of just going up and down.
Every time I'm in Tijuana, you peg it. Every time I'm in Tijuana, you peg it. I don't know why. I'm not saying anything, but that's the truth.
So the action game, when I brought up the story, Paul, about how the Miami, Ohio quarterback quit 2 weeks ago, and they really struggled last week. They only scored 3 points, but Buffalo just have a way of letting people down. But speaking of which, let's get into some NFL football. I want to talk a little Survivor, but before we do that, big line movement with this football game, guys. Last week, the advanced number, Buffalo was the 2.5-point favorite. And I didn't think that C.J. Stroud was, like, going to play in this game. He didn't play this past week. So we brought it up on the show last week, Paul, in which we said, listen, if you like Buffalo on Thursday, it ain't going to be 2.5 by kickoff. I didn't think it'd get as high as 6 like we see right now. Total 43.5.
I don't know. If I were to do anything with the game, which I'm not at this point, not at least on a side or a total, I would go under. And I shouldn't say that. I might go under. But right now, as far as the side goes, no, I'm not going to do anything with it. Davis Mills, look, he's a serviceable quarterback at times. And unfortunately, they were going to beat the Broncos a few weeks ago, and it didn't happen because C.J. Stroud, with that ill-advised slide, which didn't work out and has kept him out a few weeks here, I thought he would be back. Normally, it doesn't take this long to recover from a concussion, but apparently it does. But I got to give him a puncher's chance here just because the Bills struggle on defense. So maybe they can get something going. I think the spread's a little bit too high, but if I was to do anything here, it would be on the under.
Guys, I got to tell you too, Gabe, listening to the Buffalo reports, Coleman was out last week, and they've been talking about him missing again. And just looking at the props from that perspective, Shavers had a breakout game against the Bucs. He had 90 yards receiving. They posted on Bet365 a 19.5 for him, Gabe. I think that number could go up to the 30s. It's something that I jumped on tonight. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. And even with Coleman, that's too low. And this guy is going to be involved. So that's something I've done at the game. Paul, I don't know how you feel about that, but if you like it, I took a shot with it at 19.5 because he had a great game, and I think he's going to be, and his receptions, guys, is 1.5 as well, over for Shavers.
One thing, though,
maybe I'll tell you.
That Paul brought up, the Houston Texans do have an elite defense.
They do.
Right? So you talked about potentially liking the under here, Paul, and, you look at the Bills, they're giving up 153 yards on the ground. So you figure Houston are going to attack them. That could chew some clock up, and Buffalo have a tendency of playing up or down to the competition and or to the style, right? Like if you get into a track meet, Buffalo like it, and they'll get into a track meet, but they have gotten lulled into some sloppy performances, and we've seen this, guys, right? I mean, you've seen it, Paul. You talked about it. I didn't take them in the Survivor 2 weeks ago, and you said, no, I don't trust them against Miami, and neither did I, right? And in an ultimate Survivor situation, I was like, I don't trust the Buffalo Bills in this spot. The Bills are inconsistent and have had a hard time stringing together 2 good games in a row.
Absolutely true. I mean, the writing was on the wall that first week against Miami. They got away with that game because of, a roughing the kicker call. If not, I think it was first or second week, they would have lost the game. They were sketchy in the first 3 games. I came in and took under 13.5 on the win total after they built up that record. And I mean, that looks golden right now, but they're not even going to win the division because the Patriots have such a soft schedule. So yeah, they've been wildly inconsistent, but who knows? Maybe they'll get hot in the playoffs. And as we all know, Josh Allen, all world, and he's capable of anything.
Yeah, and I wouldn't hand the division to the Pats just yet. They do have a soft schedule. I kind of think they got 2 games they could lose. The Buffalo game and the Baltimore game. So the Patriots play the Bills and then the Ravens in back-to-back weeks. But other than that, you're right. I mean, it's pretty soft for them, and Buffalo would have to win out. But, I think Buffalo have a real legitimate chance in the playoffs. They can beat anybody, but they can lose to anybody, right? But they do have a puncher's chance, and I believe in them more than I do some of these upstart young teams, including the Patriots, to be honest with you, once we get to the playoffs.
Look, absolutely. Look what they completely dismantled the Chiefs, put Patrick Mahomes on his ass, 3 times, hit him a bunch more. So Buffalo is capable of anything. They are wildly inconsistent. You just never know what you're going to get.
I would rather be the Buffalo Bills, though, in which the Bills we've seen the Bills beat good teams. They lose to bad teams. They come out flat every once in a while, and they lose to bad teams. The Detroit Lions can't beat good teams. They can only beat bad teams.
Right.
And Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in 1-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, 1-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. Like, I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
In-game live continues. I am Gabriel Morency. We're kicking it on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. RJ Barrett, 16 points so far tonight, 10 points in the third quarter. RJ is playing great basketball for the Raptors. Raptors up 82-75 on the Philadelphia 76ers. The college game of the night, Arizona and UConn. And we've got another good one coming up with Alabama and Illinois. But the early game of the night tonight, Arizona is at UConn. Ended up closing at 4.5. Arizona were getting 4.5. Arizona are winning right now, 56-52, with a little under 8 minutes remaining in the game, and suddenly Arizona are 3.5-point favorites. So if you like UConn, you get UConn plus 165 on the money line, or plus just moved to 2.5 right now. Paul Bovey in the house with us. So we'll get to Paul's picks, but I want to ask you about the Colts and Chiefs game. Paul, another big game. Any interest in that game? Colts are 3.5-point underdogs.
Yeah, it's just not on my radar. You know, the Chiefs obviously are in a must-win situation, and you could actually say that about the Colts as well, because again, looking at the schedule, the Colts have a formidable one, and the Jaguars, looking out, have a very easy schedule. I know a couple weeks down the road they have Tennessee on the road, but the Colts have to win. They are not. I'm not going to anoint them this division just yet, even though they have a little bit of a cushion, only because of that schedule. So it's a close game. I believe Daniel Jones has done a masterful job getting the Colts to where they are right now. And of course, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs have their back against the wall. They have to start winning football games, because right now they're out of the playoffs.
What do you like this week from a point spread perspective or a total perspective before we get to the Survivor?
So I leaned in hard the Monday night game, San Francisco, Carolina. I know a lot of people are high on the Niners. They've gotten healthy on offense. Purdy is back. But I'm going to approach this from a quarterbacking perspective. If you're a quarterback in the NFL and you don't have blocking, you're not going to be successful. We can go back to that Super Bowl. All the Chiefs' offensive linemen were out. Tampa Bay hands them a 35-9 defeat. By the same token, if you're an NFL quarterback and you have superior blocking and you're not getting a pass rush, most quarterbacks, maybe J.J. McCarthy excluded, they're going to be able to pick you apart. The San Francisco 49ers have all of 12 sacks this year. In case you missed it, Jacoby Brissett dropped back 57 times last week, I believe it was, and he wasn't sacked once and he was hit 4 times. That's been the problem with the 49ers. Not putting pressure on the quarterback. They've hit the quarterback, I think, 30 times, which is very relative to other NFL teams. So I think they're going to have trouble with Carolina. They've gotten their receivers back. McMillan was sketchy for a week or two, but he's back in the lineup. And I think Carolina can give them a game. I also think it's going to be higher scoring. I played over 47. It's up to 48.5, 49. I would still play it here. I didn't play it at 47 because I thought it was going to be a 48 or 49-point game. But, you know, the number's getting pricey right now. I definitely wouldn't go above 50.
This is the biggest game for the Carolina Panthers in years. Monday Night Football, and they're one win out of a playoff spot right now.
Yeah.
The Carolina Panthers are battling for a division title, but they're also one game out. Like, put it this way, San Francisco are hanging on to the last playoff spot. They're 7-4 right now. Carolina's 6-5. Carolina's actually 4-2 as well in the conference. So Carolina owns the tiebreaker. Like, Carolina wins this game against San Francisco outright, suddenly they're in the playoffs even without the division. Not to mention, they're knocking on the door with Tampa right now. And you brought it up. Tampa are falling apart, Paul. As the season goes on, they can't absorb all the injuries that they have, and it's catching up to them, and their schedule did get pretty tough, and it caught up to them. But tell you what, Carolina, it's a pretty crazy, wild story, but they're in the mix. Cam, is there a game you want to ask Paul about?
Yeah, Paul, I want to know, we talk about backup quarterbacks and Rudolph instead of Rodgers. In my opinion, I talked to Gabe about this. I don't think it's much of a downgrade, to be honest with you. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is pedestrian, but maybe this will give them a kick in the ass. What do you think about the Steelers? The Bears are a hot commodity right now. Bears minus 2.5 in this spot. I lean Steelers. I don't know what you think about this game, Paul, but I think the Steelers are going to win this game outright.
always comes back to Mason Rudolph somehow, eh, Paul?
Yeah, it always does.
Yeah.
You're right, Gabe.
Dave knows damn well what I'm going to say.
It's been years and he's still there.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
every time Paul's on, it's Rudolph. Right.
So what do you think, Paul?
Yeah, listen, that I was impressed when he came in the game last week. I've been impressed with him the last couple of years. And apparently Mike Tomlin was, because they let him go and brought him back. Now, that's very unusual. So I actually look for the Steelers to be competitive here. And look, this Bear team has been very fortunate. They were lucky against the Giants. They seem to catch lightning in a bottle every single week. And I think it's going to run out. Last week, I'm going to tell you that receivers against the Bears last week were missed repeatedly by J.J. McCarthy. I mean, I bet T.J. Hawkinson over last week, and I bet him over 3 receptions and 24.5 yards. He should have had 5 minimum. He had 6 targets, and he missed him down the sideline once. The guy would have ran in for a touchdown. This Bear team has been fortunate. So I think with Mason Rudolph calling signals, he's got some receivers there. I think the Steelers are going to score points. I played over 44.5 on the open. I played it because I thought it was a soft number, and I thought the number should be 46. At 44.5, I like it. At 45, I still like it. At 46, I'm not sure I would. 45 being that key number, 24-21.
Paul Bovey. Excellent stuff as always, Paul. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in 1-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, 1-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back. In-Game Live continues on the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. I'm Gabriel Morency, and we're just clicking away. We don't just talk about these bets that we give you. We actually play them, but I just put it in. David Mirkovich over 17.5 points. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes, although I'll throw it out there just quickly for you because the games go off the board pretty quickly. But Mirkovich of Illinois, we like him over 17.5 points tonight. You got a total of 181. There's going to be a lot of scoring in this game and an opportunity for players to put points up. Alabama are very diversified. If you look at Alabama, all their guys are like, 10.5, 12.5, 14.5. They don't really have that go-to guy, so to speak. But we'll get into that game in a couple of minutes. Let's get you caught up to date with what's going on now. 97-82 in Philadelphia, the Toronto Raptors. Man, this is getting serious.
Amazing.
The Raptors just rolling right now. They'd be 9-1 in their last 10 games, 8-2 against the spread if they hang on here. The Raptors have been known in the past to blow leads, but this year's team is different. So they're up 97-83 right now. The fourth quarter is just getting going. We talked about Arizona. Man, Arizona have hit the wall scoring here. So this game is slowed down. It's 58-57 right now with 4 minutes remaining in the basketball game. Arizona up 58-57. For the hardcores, a quick score check right now. Temple is up 70-66. That's late with 2 minutes left. Indiana State just beat La Tech 63-51. That game just ended. Mount St. Mary's actually looking for an upset here. They're up 71-67 on the Maryland Terrapins with under 2 minutes remaining. My boys in Seatown, Cleveland State, getting lit up by Valpo tonight. 90-71, Valpo beating the Vikings in Cleveland. You know what? Here's a game, guys, I think we could jump in on in-game. I like this one. We didn't talk about it because it started at 7:30 Eastern time. But Dayton and Marquette. Dayton are leading Marquette right now, 47-36. The second half is just sort of getting started. There's 17 minutes left. I think this game is going to be – I expected this game to go over the number. You can get 151.5 right now, so it's sort of right on pace to get there. And Marquette are going to go on a little bit of a run, and there's going to be fouls in this game late. So I like the over. It just felt to 150.5. So that would be an in-game look for me that I would suggest that Marquette and Dayton go over 150.5. NHL hockey right now, the Capitals lead the sliding Edmonton Oilers 4-2. Forget about the Oilers, Cam. I'm betting on the Oil Kings tonight of the WHL.
The Oil Kings, yes.
Yeah, they're 18-4 on the season. They're the best hockey team in Edmonton.
You're damn
they're
right.
18-4. They're 18-4 on the season. They've actually won 9 games in a row as well. They're in Kelowna tonight, taking on the Kelowna Rockets. Actually, I'm not kidding. I do like the Oil King a little bit later tonight. But the Oilers have been struggling. They can't stop anything, right? And they're just giving up. It's not just their goalie. It's their entire team. So they've given up 4 goals so far to Washington tonight. They're down 4-2. They're getting 2.5 right now. The total is 8.5. And the Calgary Flames are up 2-1 on the Buffalo Sabres. Any in-game hockey thoughts, Cam?
Yeah, I think the Oilers on FanDuel, you're getting plus 2.5. It's something that I'd look at, Gabe, but you're right. Stu Skinner, it's not just him. It's the total, them as a group, just the back checking and stuff. But I expect the Edmonton Oilers to make a game of this. We're getting 2.5 down, 2 goals. So that's something that I'd look at live. You could have got Buffalo plus 1.5 even, but they scored a goal now. If you like the Sabres, at the start of the game, you had to lay juice. Now you're getting plus 154, and there's a lot of hockey left. Buffalo at Calgary. I know Calgary's desperate, but they're not good. They started off with that 2-0 lead. Buffalo's only 1 goal back. So, you could look at the Sabres. It's good plus money at plus 154, but the plus 1.5 is 220. Too rich for my blood, Gabe.
So NBA basketball, we talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Sacramento Kings, and the point spread was massive tonight. And here we are right now. We have a 52-50 game. Sacramento is hanging around with Oklahoma City, but Washington is not. So we thought that we brought it up. We thought, and we took DiVincenzo under 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. It is 61-40. So the T-Wolves are rolling the Wizards right now. But as I stated, Sacramento giving Oklahoma City all that they can handle early in this basketball game. We got a 2-point game. And remember, we stockpiled up on player props on Sacramento. So we liked Russell Westbrook over 6.5 rebounds. He's already got 4. They're kind of similar, too. Hey, Russell Westbrook and Russell Wilson. They're former stars. Russ. There's Russ. There's Russ.
and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's do this thing. We're rolling along here tonight on SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. The Buffalo Bulls have scored a touchdown. So we got a 17-10 football game right now at the half. In-game total is 46.5 right now in Buffalo. Both teams are 5-5, trying to get the elusive 6 win to become bowl eligible. We'll bring in Brady Cannon momentarily, but we've got more picks and more games coming up. The wave continues here tonight. So let's do the second leg of the pickoff here this evening. I'll start off with Illinois. So we have Illinois hosting Alabama tonight. Big-time college basketball game, SEC versus Big Ten. It is in Illinois. You look at Alabama, and Alabama aren't afraid to play anybody, right? Alabama went to Madison Square Garden. They hung like 102, 103 on St. John's. They went to they played Purdue, and Purdue beat them. Right, so Purdue knocked them off, and now they're going to play against Illinois. I don't think Illinois get enough respect from the market, or I should say the public. I think the market respects them because all their players are European dudes for the most part, right? So, like, the media is not going to talk about some, kid from Serbia or Croatia or something like that, but they can freaking ball. And I think it's a tough spot for Bama. The total is 181, so I'm sort of going to let the total play out. But give me Illinois minus 150 on their home court to win the game. It could be close, but I think the home court will be the difference. And the difference is Alabama don't play defense. Illinois are actually top 15 in offense and defense. Alabama just basically play offense. So give me Illinois on the money line. Cam, what do you got? What's your first pick here?
I'm also on Illinois, Morency. I love that play right now, minus 2.5, 4-0. This team is absolutely on fire. I think they're going to win this game by margin tonight, too. I'm surprised the line went from 3.5 down to 2.5, so we're both on the Big Ten and the Fighting Illini tonight as a team pick. Let's go Illinois, Gabe. I think they get it done tonight and beat Bama in a high-scoring affair.
So David Merkovich, his point prop tonight is 17.5, which I find to be light when you consider that the kid averages 18.5 as it is. And they played in they're 4-0 Illinois, but 3 of the 4 games that they played were like blowout games, right? They've only played one real team so far this year, Illinois, and that was Texas Tech. And they did beat Texas Tech. But we're talking about a kid that's, scoring 18.5 points a game without really having to. right? So now he's going to have to tonight. Alabama are going to freaking bring it tonight. You got a total of 181 points. So do the math and figure it out. Like, put it this way, if Merkovich doesn't score tonight, Illinois are going to get run out of the gym because he's their best player, and you have a total of 181.5 points. Give me David Merkovich over 17.5 points scored. What do you got, Cam?
Well, we got NHL hockey coming up at 9:35 Eastern, Morency. I took a shot with the Minnesota Wild. I was getting plus 138. I see on FanDuel it's plus 150. Heavy money on the Hurricanes late in this game. Minnesota's playing a lot better hockey, and just a bonus pick there that I didn't give. But Matt Boldy to score for the Wild, plus 180. 5 goals in his last 6 games. This team is playing good hockey right now. They play Carolina tight. Gabe, I like the Wild as a big underdog right now, getting plus 150. Go Wild.
All right, we're going to give a late NBA pick here. Whatever, the game tips off. And it's pretty wild because Portland just played last night against Phoenix. Not very well, but they did play on NBC last night. The Phoenix Suns went in there and rolled them. So tonight they host the Chicago Bulls. And I'll tell you what, guys, if you tuned in off the top of the program for our first wave of picks on the show, I gave you Dennis Schroeder over 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I almost thought we were being punked. You know, we've already gone over, and we're at the half right now. So, like, Dennis Schroeder at the half. So it was 17.5. He's got 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. So it was 17.5, and even closed at 16.5, and he got to 19 in the first. We're going to go over again here. This one's a little higher. We're going to get giddy with it with Josh Giddey of the Chicago Bulls. Man, I don't know if people are paying attention, but this guy's got 3 triple-doubles in his last 6 games. All right? He's basically nearly averaging a triple-double on the season. It's 37.5 tonight against a Portland team that basically are playing a bunch of, like, everybody's hurt on Portland. They're really short-handed. They can't stop anything. Phoenix just went up and down the court, and it was almost like a practice, just dunking the ball and doing whatever they kind of wanted to do. Portland went on a couple of runs offensively, but I'm looking for the Bulls to have a lot of offensive success tonight, and Giddey is the one that drives this thing there right now. 37.5 total points, rebounds, and assists for Josh Giddey. Cam, what do you got?
I got a late hockey game as well, Gabe. We got the Anaheim Ducks playing a beat-up Bruins team that's overachieving this year. Boston does not want to get in a track meet with Anaheim. The last couple of games have been under the number. I think they're going to play it close to the vest. So give me under 6.5. A lot of people like the over. I think we're going to get under 6.5 in this spot right now. I'm expecting like a 3-2, 4-2 Ducks win. I think we don't get to 7, Morency.
And we're going to wrap up our second pickoff picks, and then we'll bring Brady in. Going to give you a WHL pick. Some great hockey being played on the West Coast. The Calgary Hitmen, who there's a lot of cool, like, sort of like minor league baseball team names and stuff like that. But to me, the Calgary Hitman is just the coolest nickname. You know, that's the coolest name in sport. Like, especially in an age of, like, political correctness. I mean, hell, like they said the Bullets was like too bad because too many people got shot in Washington, so the team can't be called the Bullets. Calgary, they don't care about your political correct crap. Their team is called the Hitmen, right? And it's, of course, Bret the Hitman Hart that was, you know, the team was named after. They got a rivalry game tonight. They're playing against Medicine Hat. They both have similar records. Calgary are 12-5-2 on the season. Medicine Hat are 11-6-3. But the difference is the game is in Calgary, and home ice really does seem to matter a lot in this stuff. It's like college, you know, college football with this stuff, junior hockey. So the traveling stuff does seem to catch up to these kids. And the fact is, Calgary are red hot right now. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10 hockey games. Give me the Calgary Hitmen tonight. Calgary Hitmen, minus 140 to get it done over the Medicine Hat Tigers. Brady Cannon already bet it earlier in the day because everyone in Vegas was talking about this game. And everybody on the strip said, I am fade Medicine Hat tonight. You could walk into a casino in Las Vegas and offer people $1 million and say, where's Medicine Hat? People would not know. Unless you happen to get a tourist from Medicine Hat. How you doing, Brady?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
All right. We're doing all right. So, yeah, we got a bunch of picks tonight. Did you bet on anything tonight? College basketball, NBA, NHL. Did you bet on anything tonight, Brady?
I did not do a thing tonight, and I know that's disappointing, but there wasn't any
on this
NBA
network, we should just cut you off right now, actually. Let you go.
You can cut his mic.
I looked at the Miami Heat, catching the Golden State Warriors on a back-to-back, and I haven't checked the score, but that point spread was climbing. I think they were laying 6, 6.5, even 7. I saw that the Warriors were trailing by 4 at the half. Tough road trip for the Warriors. I also read that the Warriors were kind of going to be satisfied. I mean, these guys weren't saying it in the locker room, but the media in the Bay Area was saying, get out of this road trip at 3-3 and everything's fine. Even if they lose to the Heat, they still finish this road trip 3-3. So I thought this was a tough spot for Golden State. Didn't end up playing that one. I haven't dived into college basketball yet. Yeah. I tell you what, though, I did play a future on Gonzaga at 20-1 to cut down the nets. And the reason I did it now is because they've actually got some games coming up in Las Vegas. I think they play Alabama, Kentucky. They've got some big name games coming up here in like the next 3 weeks. And if they win those games, even if they win a couple of them, I think their price is going to dip. So I jumped on them now. We know the Zags have never been all the way, but they always seem to get to the Elite Eight, maybe the Final Four. And, when you're making a futures bet, you hope to get in that position where you can monetize down the stretch. So I thought 20-1 might be ahead of it if they win a couple of these games coming up.
Gonzaga is Brady Xander Schauffele. He stuck with Xander, and he finally paid off.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Well, we spoke a couple of minutes ago, and the Raptors were up by 13. And I said, man, past Raptor teams, last year the last couple of years, the Raptors would often get up, but they couldn't commit to playing, hard for 48 minutes. They've avoided the meltdowns late in basketball games for the most part this season. I mean, they're 8-1 in their last 9 games, right? So, but the Philadelphia 76ers have gone on a run. They've outscored them 24-14 in the fourth quarter. It's 111-106 right now with 3.5 minutes left. But let's get into some golf with Brady and Cam. We'll get their best bets of the week, as there's no rest for the wicked in the golf world. We got the RSM. So let's start off with you, Brady. What are you looking at this week? What players caught your eye the most?
You know, Cam and Gabe, I was actually lucky enough about 5 years ago to play this course down in St. Simons Island, Georgia, right there on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Got a buddy that lives down there. We went out and played. Fun course to play. It's relatively easy when the wind is not blowing, and it's not supposed to blow this week. So I think these guys are going to go, I think your winner is going to be over 20 under par. It'll be a birdie fest out there. Driving accuracy, and then I really honed in on the short iron play, like dialing those wedges in from 100 and 150. You'll hole a few putts. And I took all long bombs this week. My lowest price guy was 50-1. Nico Echeverria, got him at 50-1. Seamus Power, the Irishman that lives out here in Vegas, got him at 65-1. Mac Meisner from nearby Charleston, South Carolina. He's very familiar with this part of the country. Got him at 70-1. And then 3 triple-digit bombs. Chris Ventura, Stefan Jaeger bombs for you there, Cam, and Lee Hodges at 105-1. So a 6-pack, and half of which are at triple-digit odds.
I like the picks, Brady. Gabe, I have one Big Mac Meisner. He makes my card too. Brady got a nice number at 70. Brady, taking a look at him, great seaside guy. Like, this is the type of course he can win on. You know what I mean? It's one of those courses, 7,000 yards, Gabe. You don't have to be a bomber, but I'm on Meisner, the same as Brady at 60-1. I'm going with the chalk, Brady, but he's 28-1. I think Brian Harmon, I know he hasn't played a lot recently, but he is the type of game. The Georgia Bulldog, like, I'm looking at these other guys. You got Thor Bjornsson at like 23-1, and you have a major winner in Harmon at 28, and he's the type of guy, length isn't going to be an issue here. So I took him, and I was very, very close last week. We were on Vince Whaley. He finished third. Watch out, guys. Vince Whaley's playing great golf. He's making money. He's like an ATM machine. He just hasn't broken through yet. But Brady, his recent form's great, and I got him at 40-1. Top 20s, Michael Thorbjornsen at plus 115, all plus money. Watch out for Alex Smalley, Gabe, the product from Duke. He's been top 5 in 2 of his last 4 events. And I got the Cooties with Pearson Cootie. Watch out for Brady. He's actually playing really good golf. Like, he's like, take a look at him. He's on leaderboards and stuff, and he's 2-1 for a top 20. Those are my picks. But let's go Meisner, since we both have him at 60-1. And you have
I looked at Smalley this week and Cootie. You know, a lot of these same names have been showing up the last few weeks on this fall swing. And you and I both were on Whaley last week. He disappointed there and ended up finishing third. I was on Takumi Kanaya as well, who also finished third and was in the lead for a minute. You and I have been absolutely red hot, but can't find that elusive outright winner. Hope we can here this week. Only one more tournament really left this year. A couple weeks from now, the Hero World Challenge, or maybe you call it the Scotty Scheffler Invitational. He's a 2-time defending champion. And then we roll into 2026.
A golfer that you guys didn't bring up that's had success here in the past, and you're getting a nice big number as well, right in the same territory as my boy Seamus Power, is the Canadian Mackenzie Hughes, 55-1, guys. No love for Mackenzie Hughes, Brady?
Oh, I got love for him, Gabe, and he's a top 20 play. I didn't add it because I know it's not like a huge tournament, but Brady will tell you, Mackenzie Hughes loves this course. He loves this tournament.
He's won here.
Seaside
golf. Won here before.
Yeah, he's won here before. Good pick.
Yeah. What does he have? 2 tour wins? Two tour wins for Mackenzie Hughes?
What I like,
one of
what I like
here.
too is he's missed his last couple of cuts. So you're getting a buy low price on him here too, right? So people aren't talking about Mackenzie Hughes, but he's played well here before. He won in 2016. So 55-1, Mackenzie Hughes. That'll be my one pick.
It's a weird handicap this week because it's the final event of the FedEx Cup Fall, and if you don't land in the top 100 in the FedEx Cup standings, you're not guaranteed a full status tour card for 2026. So these guys have jobs on the line. So is that too much pressure for some of these guys? Yeah. Or
that's pressure.
The other thing is, Cam talked about it with Brian Harmon, the Georgia Bulldogs. There's so many guys that live in this area, live in St. Simons Island. I mean, there's literally about 30 guys that live in this area or in nearby, in the Athens, Georgia area that went to school there.
But do they win?
From all over the
Is
country.
there a history?
That's what I'm saying.
Is there a history of SEC? Is there a history of these SEC guys winning there?
Yeah. Well, think about it. Harris English, he lives there. Keith Mitchell, all Georgia Bulldogs. Game Harmon, all these guys are Georgia guys in there. They haven't. You're right, Brady. You're right.
Chris Kirk's a Georgia Bulldog who has. So I think a home game in golf is sometimes weird, and I also think, guys, for a lot of these guys that live there, this is like a glorified member. Hey, buddy, great to see you again. It's like, let's go down to the club and play a tournament for 4 days. I think some of the Harris English hasn't played since the Ryder Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So I think some of these guys kind of go out there to rub elbows with all their neighbors and just have fun for a few days while some of these guys are really grinding, trying to win a darn golf tournament. And I kind of went more that direction rather than, some of the local boys.
Yeah, I'll throw a top 20, and I know my boy Doug Gim's going to be grinding. Doug's not there for the cocktails. Doug Gim, top 20, plus 230, guys. Plus 230.
I like it.
I like Doug Gim, too.
Yep. He never wins, but he always finishes top 20, and he's definitely one of the players that makes sense in this field this week.
Brady Cannon. Brady, we got about 25 seconds here. Any opinion on the Bills and Texans game tomorrow night before we get you out of here?
I lean Texans, Gabe, but I'm not sure. That one's very difficult. I'm a fan of your Bills. I hope they win. I'm not sure if they win by margin.
6 is a lot of points. 6 is a lot. I can see the Bills winning by a field goal. Yeah, I can see the Bills winning by 3.
And Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. Like, I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
In-game live continues. I am Gabriel Morency. Cam Stewart in the house with us. The coach, James Young, will step up, and then I'll definitely get his thoughts on a smoking hot Toronto Raptor basketball team that just won again. 121-112 final score. Everybody contributes once again. And what I love about the Raptors is this team is all business. Like there's some celebrating going on during the game and stuff like that, but like it's they're not all big smiles. Like it's like they expect to win, right? They have that sort of they're building a culture of like, what are we happy about? We expect to win, and they're to the point now where after the games they're saying, yeah, we won, but we really didn't play that well. We could do better, and this team is a sleeper right now. There's a little mini changing of the guard going on in the Eastern Conference. People are talking about the Pistons, but I will say the NBA has talked about the Raptors. Normally they ignore the Raptors, but NBA Twitter, like their official account, has been talking a lot about the Raptors. NBA social media accounts, like non-NBA type things, like, basketball sites are talking about the Raptors. So they are getting some due and they are getting some love, actually. And so are the Pistons right now, and rightfully so. Right? So the Raptors win 121-112. The coach, James Young, will join us in a couple of minutes. We had a big college basketball game earlier tonight on the East Coast with Arizona and UConn. We've got a final. The Arizona Wildcats. I think it's about time that the odds makers and people stop picking on the Arizona Wildcats. Right? We gave you the Wildcats in the first game of the year against the Florida Gators, and they were getting like 3.5, and they beat them easily. Now they roll into UConn, and they beat UConn outright as 4.5-point underdogs, 71-67. I respected the home court, but I don't think UConn are quite on the level of Arizona right now. And if you look at Arizona's got some nice wins here to start the season. So they beat Florida 93-87. They played against Utah Tech, whatever. They crushed Northern Arizona, but they play against a former conference rival, Cam, and foe in UCLA. Mm-hmm. They go into UCLA, into Los Angeles. They beat them 69-65. Now they go on the road and they beat UConn. Like, this is big-time stuff, guys. They beat Florida on a neutral court in Vegas. They beat UCLA in Los Angeles at the Pauley Pavilion. And now they just beat UConn on one of the toughest home courts in the country to win on. Now they get a couple of walkthroughs. They get Denver, and then they get Norfolk State, but then they're right back at it. Auburn and Arizona and Alabama. So this Arizona team's the real deal, guys, and a big moneymaker. They cashed the ticket tonight and get it done. We got Illinois right now against Alabama, speaking of big-time games. And the total closed at 181. And we're off and running right now. We've only played about 4 minutes. And the total is up to 185.5 now, Cam. It's a 12-10 start for Illinois. This game's going to be a track meet tonight. But the 181 kind of scared me off, but it probably shouldn't have, because the winner of this game is probably going to end up scoring like 97 to 103 points tonight. Like, it really will be a pure track meet.
You're right, Gabe. And I don't see, that's the whole thing. You look at these big numbers and we talk about big totals. You play the over, and I would definitely not play the under. Two fast-paced teams, two teams that could fill the bucket. You talked about how good Illinois is. To your earlier point about Arizona, Brady talked about, Gonzaga futures. I'm seeing on my book, Gonzaga's 15. Arizona is 17-1 and Illinois 17-1. Those are some pretty juicy numbers, Gabe, for two very, very good basketball teams.
I love Brady, but there's not a hope in hell I'm betting on Gonzaga to win the national championship this year.
Neither am I. No, sorry, Zags. Not getting my money. No thanks.
So I said, I don't know, if you take them every year, okay. If it's one of those, right, you know what I mean? Yeah, right, I'm going to take this team every year, and maybe eventually they'll win. But, no, I don't see it happening. And, in fact, dude, like college basketball guys, people always want sleepers, all right? All year long. So going into the NCAA tournament, who's the sleeper? Who's the this and that? And you'll hear people, and smart people will join us, guys, over the next couple of months, and you're going to hear people say, I grabbed Gonzaga at 20-1. I grabbed this team at 35-1. I grabbed this team at 45-1. It's like, okay, it sounds good, and you're going to feel good about it like for a couple of weeks during the regular season when you watch them play. But college basketball, the NCAA tournament, the same teams win all the time. They just sort of rotate, right? There's only really there's basically about 4 or 5 teams that can win the national championship, in my opinion, in college basketball. Duke, Arizona,
Illinois.
Illinois are sort of the tier 2.
and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. Like, I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, great show tonight. We're really dipping our toes into every part of the pool here with different sports. Let's get into some NBA right now. We talked about Sacramento hanging around early with Oklahoma City. And, in fact, it was like a 2-point game going into the half. Oklahoma City have gone on a little bit of a run right now. It's 9-6 in the third quarter. But looking at the props, because we gave you a bunch of props in this game, Dennis Schroeder's already gone over that points, rebounds, and assists. Russell Westbrook with 6.5 rebounds. He's at 6 rebounds right now with a lot of basketball left. Zach LaVine only has 1 assist, though, so far this evening. So let's bring in the coach right now to get some more props and picks as far as the NBA is concerned. And we got the Illinois-Alabama game off and running as well. Good night of basketball tonight, Coach, with the NBA and college basketball. Arizona beats UConn, and we've got this cool Illinois and Alabama game as well.
Yeah, some good basketball on tonight. Big win by Arizona. Listen, people talk about the Banza and Peterson and obviously Cam Boozer and Arnett over at Tennessee. You got to talk about Corey Pete, the season he's had so far. Got to talk about Caleb Wilson, the season he had so far for North Carolina, getting you 20 and 10. But to me, I want to take a minute to really give my flowers to Brad Underwood. I don't think enough people talk about how good of a coach Brad Underwood is. Obviously, being part of the Huggy Bear family tree, and then obviously going to Stephen F. Austin. Remember, he made that run to the Sweet 16. And then obviously going to Oklahoma State for a year and now in Illinois. He has really made Illinois the best that they've been since probably Lon Kruger had Illinois in the early 2000s. It's tough to play in Champlain.
That's a hot take, Coach, that you're giving, because a lot of Illinois fans, but there's two sides to this, and I'm sort of with you on it, that a lot of Illinois fans feel as if though that they underachieve, right? That they get to the tournament, they doesn't win, they get frustrated with them, but as you stated, you look at Illinois basketball through our lifetimes, and I'm old enough to remember. It's like, listen, guys, Nick Anderson and Kendall Gill ain't walking through the door. Marcus Liberty ain't walking through the door right now. We're not in the old days, and that was a brief run. They were good in the late 80s, right? And they had that run with Anderson and these guys. They were good in the late 80s, but he has made them a solid program. But some would say that they've underachieved, Coach. But would you say that I brought it up. I'm on Illinois, and I said, I don't think they get love because people don't really like the coach. Illinois aren't on TV very much, and their players are all from, like, Eastern Europe, right? So, for the most part. So, they don't get love, but they're a damn good team, Coach. They're ranked top 15 in offense and defense in the country.
Yeah, they have a stud freshman. Obviously, they got Pedro Stojakovic's kid coming off the bench. Really had a big game last week, and listen, they can play, and they're tough, and they're hard nosed, and they are Brad Underwood. I think the reason is, guys, if you think about like the league, right? You have Izzo, so he's always going to get pumped, right? Matt Painter's done a really good job at Purdue, but he can't get over the hump himself. There's always Indiana.
Now May's
right?
the new hot kid on campus, right? For Michigan.
Dusty
May,
Michigan. So it's very easy to push Illinois to the side, but he's done as good of a job as any coach going into the situation. He kind of rebuilt that program up. It's kind of like what you're seeing right now out of Louisville, what Pat Kelsey's done. I mean, do people realize that literally Kenny Payne literally put that program in the graveyard at Louisville? I mean, in the graveyard. And in 2 years, he got that team as a top 5 team in the country. So what does that tell you, folks? The right coach, and in this system, the right freshmen or transfers can turn a program around pretty quickly.
The coach, James Young, laying it down with us. All right, so speaking of which, Alabama and Illinois, the total's up to 186.5 right now. I liked Illinois. Cam liked Illinois in this game, Coach. The high total scared me off, but it really shouldn't have, just because I kind of knew that, listen, Illinois don't want to play. Illinois don't want to play a 100-95 game, but you can't help it when you play Alabama, right? I mean, Alabama just sort of bait you into this type of game. And what are your thoughts on the total of 186.5 right now? It's 23-17, so we're already at 40 at the 11.5-minute mark. I think we're going to get there, Coach. I think the winner of this game probably needs like 100 points.
Well, I'll give you a story. A couple of weeks ago, I was at MSG in a 103-96 game at Madison Square Garden versus St. John's. And it was very simple. When you have Phillion and you have Aiden Holloway in the backcourt, and the way they space the floor, and they run that high pick and roll, they put right-selling guys in the corners as shooters, they do a better job, the best job, I should say, in the country, of getting you to play at their pace, right? And here's the thing I'll tell people as a coach. It is harder to get kids to slow down than to speed up, meaning it's easier for a team to get into a track meet than it is to get into a slow-down game, right? Because it's fun, it's sexy, it's, we're going to get fast break. You get the ball and you're running, and next thing you know, you're looking up at the scoreboard, and you're like, you can't slow them down. That's the problem that Rick Pitino has. Now, here's the thing. Just like Alabama had it with St. John's, Illinois' got guards too. That they can get to the basket, they can get downhill, they can space the floor. So this game, 23-17, is right where Nate Oates has it. Now, I still like Illinois going into the game, but I still think the game goes over.
That's the thing, because Alabama, they don't really play defense, but they kind of do. But they're like a street ball team. They want to get turnovers and swat the ball loose and stuff like that. But if you've got good guards and you can eliminate the turnovers against Alabama, you can score on them. But we got the Knick game coming up, Coach, here. So Knicks and Mavericks, it's 8.5 right now. What are you looking at here? Brunson is back. Total is 233 in this game. Do you like the side total or any player props tonight in this game?
I'm keeping it simple, and people are going to be like, are you crazy? Mitchell Robinson over 8.5 rebounds, and you can find it at plus money in some books. He's over 3 in the last 5 games. Guys, he only gets about 20 minutes a game. But what they did in New York, and if being from New York, I've heard this, they're playing him in short stretches, which is getting him the ability to go out there and just play a maximum effort. Then you look at the fact that I would argue, you got to tell me, maybe I'm wrong, Mitchell Robinson is the best offensive rebounder in the NBA today. And you look at a team like Dallas, they are 27th in offensive rebounds allowed per game to centers. So you think a dominant center who offensive rebounds versus a team without AD, right? They're playing without, now obviously you have the other guys, Lively and Gafford, but those guys hang around the basket. It's tailor-made. Mitchell Robinson over 8.5 rebounds. He may get this at half. Remember, guys, there was a game last week. He had 9 rebounds, offensive rebounds. He hit his player prop just on O boards alone.
Coach, are you concerned about the line move, though, even with the guys
You got
out?
me sold, Coach.
Yeah,
You got me sold. I just want to say you got me sold. I just got my bet in on Robinson. But let me just quickly throw in a player. Sorry, Cam, but I want to, Coach.
No problem.
Josh Hart was 12.5 earlier in the day. The betting market, the sharps bet it down to 11.5, Coach. Now that Brunson's back, does Hart get to 12 tonight? It's going to hurt his offensive production with Brunson being back.
Yeah,
and when he was gone, he was only getting 12 and 14.
No. If you kind of look at Josh Hart, was under, I think, in 5 out of his last 6 games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's moved to 7.5. I mean, he's gone over the last 2 games, but that concerns me, right? To me, what I would be looking at with Hart is probably at the assist mark and maybe the rebound.
No, but I'm saying under for Hart, though. I'm not saying over. I want to bet under for Hart.
I would look under at points, but if you're looking to go over, I would go rebounds plus assists because he's going to have to do the other little things with that lineup in regards to passing. And, of course, he's actually one of the better rebounding guards in the NBA.
All right, see, you sold me on Mitchell Robinson. I got in on it, 8.5, over 8.5 rebounds, plus 110. We'll get into the Bulls and the Blazer game. Some more college basketball on the other side.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
In-game live continues. I'm Gabriel Morency, Camp Stewart in the house, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. 3-2 for the Calgary Flames over the Buffalo Sabres right now. 14 minutes remaining in the game, and you've got Carolina and Minnesota getting ready to drop the puck. Minnesota Wild are plus 150 home dogs. Carolina minus 185. Carolina minus 1.5 is plus 150. And Minnesota Wild plus 1.5 is minus 185. Cam, do you have a play on the Carolina Hurricanes and Minnesota Wild game?
Yes, they do, Gabe. I'm going dog hunting. The dog catcher. I'm going to get Minnesota at plus 150. I think that's a good price. I think they keep this game close. They always play Carolina well. They've won a few in a row. They're really building like something there in Minnesota. So I like them as a nice pooch tonight. And I also did a parlay, Minnesota plus 1.5 with the Ducks on the money line, and that's plus 152 right now. Ducks to win to beat Boston and Minnesota plus 1.5. 2-game parlay plus 152.
Yeah, I like the Ducks earlier in the year. I'm not a fan now that I see the Ducks are turning into like minus 180 and minus 190 favorites. They're a big favorite tonight against the Boston Bruins. But we'll get some hockey picks on the way out before we wrap things up. We're with the coach, James Young, right now. And, Coach, just for people that might be joining us right now, once again, New York Knicks, Dallas Mavericks, what are your thoughts? What are you doing with the game?
Yeah, I'm just going simple. Mitchell Robinson over 8.5 rebounds. A team that's 27 in rebounds allowed to centers versus offensive rebounds versus the best offensive rebounder in the league. They play him in short stretches. I know it's a high number for a guy who only plays about 20, 25 minutes tonight. He may get this at halftime. Mitchell Robinson over 8.5 rebounds. Remember, also, Gafford Lively. Guys aren't on the perimeter. Guys are in the dunker spot. So he's in perfect defensive rebounding position as well.
Coach, I brought it up briefly earlier. Adam Silver announced that they're going to look into biometrics and the biorhythms of the players and why there's so many injuries, and they're all about preventive injuries. And I'm thinking, well, you can throw your biometrics in a trash can. You've got teams playing back-to-back every night all the time for whatever reason. It doesn't have to be this way. And I get it. Even with with a long schedule, it doesn't have to be this condensed, but it is. And I get it. They're playing at home, so it's back-to-back at home, but it's just strange, Coach, to see Portland playing. I just watched them play less than 24 hours ago on NBC last night against Phoenix. Now they get the Bulls rolling into town, a Chicago Bull team that overachieved to start the year, surprised everybody. And then, the Bulls went on that 5-game losing streak, but they did nail down a nice road W the other night in Denver, 130-27. They get a beat-up Portland team tonight, Coach. What are your thoughts on the Bulls and the Blazers game?
Yeah, and remember, they stopped that 7-game winning streak for Denver in that win on the road. To me, I always try to find matchups, and I'm going to go to an interesting matchup. I'm going to go to Donovan Clingan. Now, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do points, you can do rebounds, or you just go double-double. Number one, he's going against Nikola Vucevic, who plays zero defense. Like zero. So if you kind of look at it, 50% hit rate the last 10 games. When you look at in regards to centers, they give up a ton of points. They're dead last in points allowed, giving up to centers. They give up a ton of dunks. I'd look at Donovan Clingan to go over his points prop of 10.5. His rebound props at 9.5. Put it together. Give yourself a double-double. Donovan Clingan double-double tonight versus Nikola Vucevic, because Vucevic doesn't stop anyone. But Vucevic does rebound the ball well, so Donovan Clingan, double-double tonight.
Double-double, plus 155 for Donovan Clingan, speaking of the UConn Huskies. So, former Husky there. Let me ask you then about a triple-double here, plus 375, Josh Giddey. I mean, this guy is just like a monster stat producer, Coach, and 3 of the last 6 games he has put up a triple-double. So, I mean, the dude's just on fire right now. And some monster numbers, guys. 21 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists in the last game. The game before that, he had 26 points, 13 rebounds, and 13 assists. He's nearly averaging a triple-double on the season. Yeah, it's 21.8 points a game, 10.3 rebounds, and 9.4 assists, Coach. I don't think people are talking about this enough. We're getting plus 375 tonight. I'm going to roll the dice that Giddey gets a triple-double, but I'm playing Giddey over 37.5 points, rebounds, and assists tonight in this game.
Well, the numbers and what they allow tell you no. And here's why. The Portland Trail Blazers give up the least amount of assists per game to point guards. They are 7th in total rebounds allowed per game. But what they do give up is a lot of free throws to point guards, and they give up a lot of points. 22nd.
And let me throw something in there, Coach.
Go ahead.
Their defensive stats are a hell of a lot better when Drew Holiday's in the lineup.
Mm-hmm. That's also true. Now, my worry is the back-to-back, or them coming off a big win. A team like Chicago, who would start off hot, went cold. I get concerned sometimes, and this is where you need the teammates to be involved, of the fact of them playing well after a really big win, right? Because
But
you
they've
get
had
a
a day off
letdown
at
spot.
least.
They had a
I
day
kind
off
of
at
feel
least,
it's more. I feel it's more of a letdown spot for Portland in the sense that last night you had NBC, national television, Phoenix Suns were in town, right? Everybody was all dressed up, sitting courtside. Portland are never on national television anymore, and then suddenly tonight you're playing against the Bulls. Like, you know what I mean? It's not going to be the same buzz in the arena tonight. I think the Bulls win the game, Coach. Any pick on the side?
I mean, I would look at the Bulls as the side there. Even though I've been very impressed with Thiago Splitter, what he's done so far as a coach. He's really done a good job with that team. It'll be a good contest, and it's for two teams that really are overachieving. I mean, even Portland being at 500 is an overachievement of itself. I think their win totals, 31 or 32 and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't worry. Reality will kick in soon. Don't worry.
Well, let's just hope Chauncey Billups doesn't show back up in the locker room because they seem to be doing pretty darn well without him. But listen, it'll be a good contest. But we'll see. But my bigger thing is I look at that Don McClingan double prop tonight plus 155. That seems mighty juicy to take a look at.
All right, just we got about 30 seconds. What do we have on the way out here? So college basketball, the board is starting to thin out. Arkansas State, St. Mary's, Campbell at Weber State. Weber State is only minus 1.5 on their home court in Southern Utah and Washington State. You know what? This is actually, you have a gambling problem type of game. This is Coach tonight.
Exactly.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, quick 2 hours this evening. We'll be back tomorrow night with Scott Wetzel, the Buffalo Bills, and the Houston Texans. Thursday night football. For the most part, most primetime games suck, right? And we kind of just, we got to deal with it. The Cowboys and Raiders the other night didn't suck because we were on the Cowboys. That's the thing. If you're on the winning side of a bad game, it softens the blow. But we got Davis Mills starting tomorrow for Houston. Buffalo are a strange team. Like I said, every team, has flaws, so to speak. But like we were talking about the Detroit Lions, and the Lions we've seen. The Lions can't beat good teams, right? The Lions, go to Green Bay, they lose. They go to Kansas City, they lose. And like they lose convincingly in these games. They go to Philadelphia, they're terrible, and they're flat again. And, it's like shame on me, shame on you. After like the fourth or fifth time, it's like, 10th time with Dan Campbell, you've got to realize, all right, they just can't beat good teams. They beat bad teams, and they're going to murder the Giants this week, but good for them, whatever. But the Buffalo Bills are the opposite. The Bills beat good teams. They'll lose to a bad team, right? The Bills lost to the Dolphins. The Bills lost to the Atlanta Falcons, right? Like, you can catch the Bills in a flat spot and oftentimes off of a win. So you got the Bills coming off this big win against Tampa. Now they're playing on a short week, but there should be a sense of urgency about the Buffalo Bills, but they often don't have that sense of urgency. But then you've got Davis Mills on the other side. What's your pick for tomorrow, Cam? Your early lean for the football game?
It's the Bills, but it's not going to be easy. We've talked about Houston before, and they always play Buffalo tight. But, Gabe, that line movement actually makes me think about the Bills. I'm seeing a 5.5 on FanDuel. It was up to 6, but I agree with you. I think urgency is the word for the Buffalo Bills. They can't screw around anymore with the way the Patriots are playing. I expect them to win this game by a touchdown between 7 and 13. I like the Buffalo Bills in this spot, and I think their defense will show up against Davis Mills and Houston. I'll tell you one thing, Gabe, you know this about Houston as well. Their offense could be anemic. They have Nico Collins and a lot of nothing. So if the Bills show up and just do their job, get good field position, forcing some punts, I think they can cover this spread at -5.5. Go Bills.
The Buffalo Bills are the second worst team in the National Football League at stopping the run. They're giving up 153 yards on the ground, and Houston are going to be aware of this, obviously. I think the total is light for a Buffalo Bill game. You normally don't see a total at 43.5, but I think I'm going to tease this game to the under. I'm going to use the Buffalo Bills and moneyline parlays. In fact, I already had the Bills at the back end of a couple of parlays already just to win the football game. But as a lifelong Bill fan, I'm aware that nothing comes easy for Buffalo. So if you're out there thinking, Buffalo will roll these guys and Josh Allen this and that, they go on the road and they're a different team. They're 5-1 at home, the Bills. They're only 2-2 on the road. Houston do have an elite defense for real, right? So, but I still think Buffalo will be able to move the ball. But I think a Buffalo Bill teaser to the under isn't bad because I don't think we're going to get to 51 tomorrow. And I don't think that the Houston Texans will be able to run up and down the field on the Bills either. They don't have like a stud back to do it. So I think the Bills can slow it down a little bit. And Houston does not want to get into a track meet with the Buffalo Bills. So Houston are going to be trying to play slow. They're going to milk the play clock all the time. So I'm going to tease the game to the under. All right, Cam, tonight, good job with your early picks. The pick-off, we produced a lot of winners so far this evening. Hopefully we can keep it rolling tonight. Late games tonight. You got that late Bruins game. I guess what else are you betting on? What do you have as far as your last picks here? You can give people your golf picks on the way out here, too, if you want.
Oh, Thanks, Gabe. Minnesota Wild, that game just started. I have them plus 150. We also have a parlay Wild plus 1.5 with the Anaheim Ducks. I'm gonna take the Ducks in to win in regulation, Gabe, instead of -1.5. But -1.5 is plus 140. Golf picks for you, Gabe. I do like Brian Harmon at 28-1. He's from the area. Georgia Bulldog plays well. Major winner. Good price for him. Vince Whaley finished third last week at 40-1. And Brady Cannon and I both like Mac Meisner at 60-1. He's a great win player too. Brady says the wins aren't going to be there, but he plays well in coastal golf. So let's hit some winners, Morency, on the way out, and good luck with your picks tonight too.
All right, our triple threat play on the way out, as if we haven't given enough picks tonight, but we'll go with Josh Giddey over 37.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We'll go with Josh Giddey to record a triple-double at plus 375. He's got a triple-double in 3 of his last 6 basketball games. And I don't really think Portland are going to be able to do very much to stop it. We watched Portland last night. They're really injured, right? They're a shorthanded basketball team, and they seem to be pretty beaten down and worn out after the game last night. So give me the Chicago Bulls to beat the Portland Trailblazers on the money line.